Hi friends, welcome back to our channel Total QA. In our channel, we posted multiple videos and categorized into different playlists. Recently, we have posted one of the important topic, Jira. So please go through these videos, Jira videos, which will be very helpful for you in real time and also which are very helpful for you to clear the interviews as well. Now, in today's topic, we're going to discuss about how are we going to handle multiple windows in Selenium WebDriver. Mainly, before we go ahead and understand about this concept, we should be having an idea about what is a hyperlink. Hyperlinks mainly helps users to navigate from one web page to another web page. And hyperlinks are having the following syntax: anchor tag, href equal to URL, LinkText, and anchor tag, and A stands for anchor tag. Here means whenever we are using a hyperlink, we need to mention as anchor tag, and we have to mention the link text. This is the link text we use to click on the link to navigate to the next page. But here there are two different examples we have to understand. The two different examples are, in one of the anchor tag we will find target equal to blank, and one of the anchor tag we don't find any target attribute here. So what is the difference between these two? When you say target equal to underscore blank, it means when you click on this link, it will navigate to a new window. Whenever you see a anchor tag href is equal to signin.html doesn't have any target is equal to blank, it means it will sign in the same page. This, when you click on this link, the sign in link, it opens in the same page. So there's a difference between these two. Let's see this example now. So I open the web page now, the login page.html. In this web page, I have defined totally two hyperlinks. One hyperlink sign in, one hyperlink sign in the same page. And also let me see the source code of this HTML web page, view page source. And here in the view page source, you can find here, clicking on sign in, it is target is equal to blank. And sign in the same page doesn't have target is equal to blank. So let's see what will happen when you click on sign in the same page, the link which doesn't have target is equal to blank. What happens when you click on sign in the same page? It opens in the same window. It doesn't open a new window. We call a window in the case of Selenium WebDriver, but it's a new browser, or we call as window in the case of Selenium WebDriver. Okay, so it opens a new window in the same browser only. It doesn't open a new window totally. But when you go back here, when you click on this sign in which has target equal to blank, click on this, see what happens. Observe carefully now. Let me close 1, 2. We have only one is there available. Let me click on sign in, see what happens now. It opens a new window totally. So there are two scenarios. One scenario is you click on the link, it opens in the same window. You click on the link, it opens a new window. So now the scenario is, how are we going to switch between multiple windows? Okay, now next point. Let's take scenario 2, because we will take a real-time scenario. These two examples are defined in a HTML example. So I have shown you, but let's look into a real-time example now. So when you look into real-time example, let's take facebook.com, where we can register in the Facebook. This is the link we take. Let me copy this link. Let me open Firefox. I enter this URL here. This is the URL I entered here. When I entered this URL, I can see in the bottom, I can see by clicking sign up, you agree to our terms, data policy, cookie policy. There are three different policies are there. I think one is terms and conditions, second one is data policy, and third one is cookie policy. So suppose, for example, I click on data policy, see what happens. Let me close other browsers. Let me click on data policy. Is it opening in the same window or is it opening in a new window? Let's observe carefully now here. Click on data policy. I clicked on data policy. It opens in a new window. So now we have to write a logic in Selenium WebDriver. How are we going to switch from Facebook registration page to the data policy page to do some activity? You click on the button, you try to enter the text in the text box, you read the title of the web page, anything is fine, but we should do some activity in this web page and go back to the parent window again. So we call this as parent, we call this as a child window. What does it mean? Let me write it down here for our information. So parent window is Facebook registration page and the child is data policy page. Window, you can say window. And also not only that, we can achieve the logic of handling multiple windows using 3 different ways. One way is you can use enhanced for loop, one way is you can use iterator, and another way is you use arrays. But tell me one thing, how do we achieve this? In order to achieve, we need some Selenium API, right? Selenium API is important for us to switch between the windows like driver.getTitle, driver.findElement, driver.switchTo.frame. Similarly, do we have any switch to method available? Yes, there is a switch to method available, that is driver.switchTo.window and string window name. So there is a switch to method available to switch to a window, but we need to pass a window name. So how do we get a window name? If you want to get a window name in Selenium, we have 2 methods which are defined: driver.getWindowHandle to get the name of the parent window. This is, we can store it in a parent. And we have one more method which is available to switch between the windows to get all the window names. Right now we are getting the parent window name, driver.getWindowHandles, which will get all the window names. But very important point, this method returns a set of strings. And you can get all the window names, which will be helpful for you to switch between the windows. So if you want to get the name of the window, which is parent, driver.getWindowHandle. If you want to get all the window names, we can use driver.getWindowHandles, which returns a set of strings. Okay, we can use this set and switch between the windows. And once we get the name of the window, we can use driver.switchTo.window and string window name. So these 3 are important for us to write the logic. And this information you can find it in a Selenium. Let me open that. We can find this information in a Selenium WebDriver Java documentation. You can see there is a get window handle and also there is a get window handles. Both are available. So you can find this information, and we can even find switch to a window. Switch to a window, the target locator, click on the target locator, and you can find switch to a window. See here, window, string, name or handle. So this link, I will update it. It is very important to go through the documentation, the Java documentation, to get some understanding about the methods which are defined as part of Selenium API. Okay, let me put this information also in this notepad. This notepad will be updated in the description of the video. Fine. Shall we go ahead and write the logic now? Yes, because we understand the concepts of hyperlink. We understand different examples. What is the difference between target is equal to blank and without target is equal to blank? And also we have seen one real-time example of Facebook. Clicking on the link in the registration page of the Facebook, it opens a new window. How are we going to switch? We have seen all the APIs which are required for switching between the windows. Okay, so let's start the logic now. I created a Java program. The name is handling windows. Then I write a main method. So public static void main. Then here we will write WebDriver manager dot Firefox WebDriver manager.firefox driver.set. We can use even Chrome as well. We can use even Firefox also, IE also, anything is fine. But just for example, for this example, I'm using Firefox driver. That's it. Now we need to say driver.get URL, driver.get the URL of the web page. Let's take the URL of the web page. This is the URL of the web page, facebook.com/r.php. Let's copy this, driver.get this URL. Now we need to use a method to get the window name of the parent. Means when we say driver.getWindowHandle, we call the method driver.getWindowHandle. This we will get the parent window name, which is facebook.com/r.php. So we get the name of the window, which is the parent window name. That's the facebook.com/registration.php. This returns a string. How do you know the return type of a method? When you place a mouse over on any method, it gives you information that what is the return type of this method. Let me select it again one more time. Select it again and place a mouse over. This will give the information that this method, calling this method, returns a string as a return type. So store this value in a string for meaningful variable name we have to provide, because parent is a very meaningful word here. Just put parent because it means this is the parent window. And also you can even try to print the title of the parent window, right? Say string title equal to parent window title, just say driver.get title, and just try to print now. System.out.println. We can say here the parent window name, which is parent, and also parent window title. We can even put parent window title here. Parent window title. So now we have written the logic. The logic will be helpful for us to get the name of the window, to get the name of the parent window title as well. Okay, the title of the parent window as well. Let's try to execute this program. Then we can go and implement the three logics which I mentioned in the notepad. But as of now, let's right click on this, run as, say, Java application. Let me right click, run as Java application. Let's wait for a few seconds. This will try to execute on a Firefox browser and get the output now. Let's see what happened here. Take some time to connect to the Firefox browser. Yes, Gecko driver for Firefox browser, it is Gecko driver, or Mozilla we can call as it's a Gecko driver. It's not a Chrome driver, it's a Gecko driver for Firefox. Now it is showing some, yes, it is trying to launch the browser now. You can see the browser is getting launched, and the URL is entered, almost entered here. Click on it. We can see the Facebook sign up page, the registration page. Then that's it, right? Let's go back to the Eclipse and see in the console. So we can see the parent window name is 19. It's a string. Parent window title is sign up for Facebook. So we're able to fetch the title of the parent window name, that is sign up for Facebook. Now let's get into the logic now. So let's write logic 1 now. Logic 1. So as I said, we can write three different logics here. The first logic 1, using enhanced for loop, right? Using enhanced for loop. But before that, we can even call one more method to get all the window names. Means before we get all the window names, we have to click on the hyperlink, that is datapolicy. Then only we get all the window names. So if you see in this web page, once this web page is opened, we can click on this datapolicy link, so that the datapolicy link Clicking on the link, it opens in a new window. So let's write down that as well. Driver.findElement. What is the locator we use to click on the hyperlink? It's LinkText datapolicy.click. Then by clicking on this, we get a new window. Then we have totally two windows right now. One is parent window. Second one is by clicking on the link, it opens a new window. We have totally two windows now. So to get the two window names, driver.getWindowHandles. That's it. This returns a, how do you know the return type of a method? As I mentioned already previously, we can place a mouse over, it returns a set of strings. So we can just mention here, set of strings we can mention, right? Let's do that. Window name or window set, window name set. Okay, here we're using a set. In Java, mainly set is a data structure to use only unique objects in the data structure. It will not allow duplicate objects. Suppose in the case of this example, it is returning two different strings or two strings it is returning. If these two string objects are equal, it will ignore one of the string object. So the advantage in the case of set is having a capability of storing only unique objects. If the driver.getWindowHandles is giving some duplicate string objects, it will ignore and make sure it stores only unique object. The reason being why we are using set here is because if there are three windows, let's take one example to understand set. Why we are using set to store different window names? The reason being, suppose let's take window name, window 1, window name, window 1, window 2, window 3. So now the window 1 name is, say, is W1, and window 2 name is W2, and window 3 name is, say, W1. So what happens? Suppose I wanted to switch to W3. Is it possible? Because if both the window names are having the same name, both the windows are having the same name, it is not easy to switch. So what we have to do? We cannot use list here, because when you try to store in a list, it will store W1, W2, W1. So it will store all the three string objects. But in the case of set, it will store W1, W2, W2. This is not possible. We cannot switch at all, because, and also this is not possible in real time that you will get same window name, right? It's not possible. In any two windows doesn't have the same window name. That's mandatory. It will not happen at all. So, and also the developers also has taken some care to store these objects in a set, not in a list. Now let's write down the logic now, and also we can print the size of the set. Size of the set or the list size or set size, both are same. In the case of set, we use window names set.size. This is even same in the case of list as well. No change. Size is a method available in the list and also in the set. Now let's implement the logic now. So the logic one is, and also we can put here some system.out.println. We can even mention that as logic one using enhanced for loop. Yeah, that will be good. In the console we can see logic one is started. So how do we retrieve the values from the set? If you want to retrieve the values from the set, in the case of this one, we have to use an enhanced for loop. The reason being, in the case of set, there is no get method available. It is not indexed. There is no get method available to fetch a particular value from the set. So we have to use enhanced for loop. Enhanced for loop is for each string available in this window name set. Again, for each string means for string, each string window. For each string, we can put the string. For each string, the string has a variable child. For each string available in window name set, then if not child equals to, if child not equals to parent, child not equals to parent means the name of the child window, definitely it will be not equal to parent window. Why? Because we are storing in a set. It doesn't store any duplicate objects. So the child not equals to parent, the child window name not equal to parent window name, then we go inside driver dot switch to dot window. We will switch to child window. Then we can even print the title of the child window, right? So let's try to say mention driver dot switch to child window title is driver dot switch to dot driver dot switch to not title, right? Just mention title, that's it. Child window title. So once we are done, the child not equals to parent, once we are done, then you can do any activity. You can get the title of the web page. You can even enter the text in the text box. Suppose, for example, if you are interested to enter the text in this text box, you can even identify that as well. That means, suppose, for example, right click, inspect. You can find the details of the text box, email text box. The email text box is having ID as email. I can take this ID as email into consideration. Let me copy this. I go back to the logic. Now I'll try to mention here as driver dot find element I dot ID. I can put email dot then keys, mention here as say total qa9@gmail.com. Okay, that's it. Once you are done with this logic, you can driver dot switch to the window. We have to navigate back to the parent window. And how do we confirm that we are switching to the parent window? Again, if you are confirming or not, we can just try to copy these 2 lines of statement. We can just get the parent window name and parent window title. This is how you can switch between windows. Okay, let me execute this program again to get some results and confirm yes, this logic is working. The logic one is working as expected. Let me close all the tabs and let me go back and try to run the program. Okay, so let's see. So the logic is available now. The logic one is available. We're able to switch between the windows. Okay, and we're able to switch to the parent window after that, and we're printing the parent window name and parent window title as well. Now let me try to execute this. Right click, run as Java application. Now check in the console. We can see the results in the console as well. So logic 1 is almost completed. Then we can switch to logic 2 now. The logic 2 is mainly using iterator. How are we going to switch between the windows using iterator? Right? Iterator is interface in Java. How are we going to use iterator to switch between the windows? Now, once it opens the Firefox browser and Facebook registration page, click on the data policy. Data policy has been opened, and switching to this window, then we have to enter the text in the text box. Okay, so now what happened? Is it working? Let's see. There is some issue here. Child window title, we are not getting the title. The reason being, it is not able to identify the title. Okay, and also child window title, also we are not getting this title. Why? Let's see. So we already got here 2. The size of the window names is 2. right? The size of the window names is 2. Now we are trying to, for each string stored in the Windows name set, for each string, I think the objective here is we have to put here, there is one more phrases we have to put here, because you're saying not child equals to parent. You have to put like this, because child equals to parent and we are putting not. If child not equals to parent, then we go inside. This logic is right now. Then you switch to the child, then you enter the text, because if you see the child window title is also not coming here properly. So there is some issue here. What we have to do is we have to say child not equals to parent, then go inside, then try to switch to the window, then get the title of the web page. Okay, let's try to re-execute now, because we got some errors. We have fixed it. What we have fixed it? We just put this is a conditional statement. So how do you read? Because if you read this one, let me highlight it. Okay, so if you read this one, this entire thing, this is child equals to parent, which returns true, right? Child equals to parent, it is not true here. In this case, it is false. If it is false, suppose for example, child equals to parent, it is false, because all the window names are unique. So if it is false, if not applied on the false, if not applied on the false, this false will become true. So if true, finally, what is the conditional statement? If it is true, it will go inside. If it is true, it will go inside and execute this logic. Okay, then only it will get switched to the with child. How this child is coming? This child is coming from here. For each string child stored in this window name set, fetch it. Fetch the first name, store in child. Second name, store in child. So for each window name stored in window name set, retrieve it, store in the child variable, and try to write this logic. Now let's try to re-execute now again one more time and see what happens. It will try to execute now. Once it executes successfully, we'll write the logic 2 as well using iterator interface. Okay, it is almost opening the browser now. Okay, click on data policy. Again, there is some issue here, right? Let's see what is the error here. Okay, it is working perfectly fine, but what happened? Why it is not entering the title? Is it enter the title in the send keys? It is doing that. Send keys is not working, or is it working? Didn't enter the text in the text box. Why? Let's see why it didn't enter the text in the text box. Usually it has been switched. Parent window name, it doesn't go to switch, and we are getting only one here. Okay, what we have to do here is, once you click on the data policy, it is taking some time, because we are getting the window size as 1. It is taking some time to get the window size as 2, because when you click on the link, it takes some time to launch the second window. For that reason, what we have to do is, as of now, just put some wait statement and see whether this will help us, because we are putting for a, just wait for 5 seconds and see. Then you try to get the window handles. Then we get 2 window handles. Let's add this wait statement as of now, quick fix, and we can change it afterwards. Just put as of now thread.slip to identify, yes, we need some wait statement to switch to the second, switch to the window, or not, to get the number of window handles. Okay, let me try to re-execute now. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we can see the console. The browser is launched successfully now. The URL is entered here. Clicked on the link now. Okay, there is some delay. It will wait for some time to open this web page. Then go back and see we are able to enter. So what is happening here is sometimes when you click on the link, it will not open it automatically. So we just need to put some small delay of 5 seconds so that the other window also opens and we can switch to the window and complete the steps. Now the logic one is completed successfully, right? We're able to switch and also we're able to enter the text in the text box. This is also completed. Now let's look into the second logic which we have to implement now. The second logic is more or less in the same way, but only thing is we are using iterator. I need to copy these two statements which are required here. That's logic 2 using iterator. We'll mention here using iterator, logic 2 using iterator. Iterator is an interface in Java which will help us to iterate the elements in the set. Okay, logic 2 using iterator. Let's see the logic now. The logic here is what we have to do here is once we get the set, we have a set here, right? This is a window name set. This set we use and we call a method window name set dot. There is a method available which will return an iterator. Means all the keys. We are going to get all the keys of the strings which are stored in the set. So iterator, we call iterator. This method will give all the set of keys and stored in an iterator interface mainly. So I'll just mention here as iterator, which is a string. Now we can say here it, iterator it. Again, window name set, we call a method iterator. This will give all the elements which are stored in the set will be returned and stored in iterator. It is it. So now when you try to retrieve the elements from the iterator, we should have a conditional statement while iterator is empty, but we cannot say iterator is empty while iterator has next. If iterator is having some values go inside the while conditional statement, then we can say driver.switchTo window, and I will call iterator.next. Means it is pointing to the next window here, because when you say iterator.next, we are pointing to the next window, that is the child window. Then once you switch, then you can write this logic here. This entire logic you can even write here. Why? We are switching to the window iterator.next, switching to the next window. Okay, next window is nothing but the child window. Then you switch to the parent again after that. Once you complete this while, because there are two elements only, iterator will go to the second child element and we try to access it and it will switch inside that. That's it. Okay. Now driver.switchTo.window.it.next. So what will happen here in this case? Let me highlight it here. So here first thing we have a Facebook. We have Facebook here. Then we have data policy. So iterator first pointing to the Facebook. I think this will point to the Facebook. This points to Facebook. Then iterator.next pointing to the DP. So what is happening here is once you iterator, what you can do, one more thing is once you point into the Facebook, when do you switch? If it is data policy only, we have to switch, right? So let's try to write the logic. I think this logic has to modify a little bit here because we cannot directly write like this. When you switch, you can check the title. If you can write a title now here, the title is now if driver.getTitle dot contains you can say policy or data policy, anything is fine. Then only you go inside. Otherwise, you keep on iterate this while conditional statement. That's it. You switch to the window, and when you switch to the window, if it is title contains policy, you go inside. Once you complete this, that's it. Then you come out of this while conditional statement, then you switch to your parent window. So iterator will help us. First thing, it will point to Facebook. Facebook title doesn't contain policy. Then it will go back to the next element, which is data policy. The data policy contains title contains policy. It will go inside and try to get the window title, and also it will try to enter the text in the text box. So this is how we have to write a logic, mainly to switch between the windows in the case of iterator. Let me execute the program now. For logic T also we see the output now. Run this program. Okay, let's see. Then we can focus on the third logic, which is mainly we're using an array to convert the Windows set into an array, and we are writing a for loop to retrieve the elements from the array, and we'll try to complete the logic. But as of now, logic 1, logic 2. Let's see. It opens registration page, and also it entered. I clicked on the link. Right, it entered 2 times. Fine. Let's go back and see the output. Now it is working successfully. See here, the data policy. 19. So both the logics are working fine. One point we have to make sure, in the case of iterator, we have to even validate the title of the web page. The title contains. See, it's always a good thing before we switch. Once we switch, before we do some activity in the web page, we can even check the title of the web page. If the title is what we are expecting, then you go inside and try to validate and get the title. And also this logic will work for even though if you have 3 windows or 4 windows or 5 windows. This logic is not only for 2 windows, it will work for n number of windows. And this, if conditional statement, you can even write here also, because it's always a good practice. Before we switch, you can have one more conditional statement before we switch, before you try to perform some activity, right? It's always a good practice to check whether the title contains what we are expecting. Then don't switch into this web page. So now what is the advantage here? We keep on switching to each and every window. There are 5 windows. Only one window which is having name the title as data policy, which will navigate and switch to this window. Otherwise, it will not switch. So this logic, it is not only for 2 windows. This logic will work for 5 windows which are opened, but it will switch to a window which is having title as data policy. Now let's go back to the third logic. Now let me copy these 2 lines of statement and try to write down the third logic, logic 3. So logic 3 is using an array, using single dimensional array. Here we can put here single dimensional array. Right, then we can simply take the window name set, which is a set here, window name set, convert into an array. Right, copy this, just put it here, and we can call toArray. There is a method available, toArray, which returns an array of objects, because this method is giving array of objects. Object array, you can say window names array here. Now when we know the array, we know how do we retrieve the elements from the array, because array is index based. This is an array is index based. For int I equal to 0, I less than window names array dot length, then I plus plus, then we can write a for loop, then we can get to the first window, second window, third window, we keep on switching. So driver dot switch to window, the child name window names array of I dot toString. We're able to switch to the first window. But what I said here again, before we switch, once we switch, to confirm whether the window is what we are expecting, it is always a good practice to put the entire information like this. Just mention the same here. If the driver, once you switch to the window, if the driver is driver.getTitle contains a policy, then go inside, then do this activity. Otherwise, it's not required. Also, one more thing, what we can do is, it's always a good practice before we enter any text in the text box, just say clear, because if it is entered in the previous logic, it will try to clear, right? So just try to add clear here. So it is not only that we're using an set directly using enhanced for loop. We can use iterator. We can use a single dimensional array where we can switch to each and every value in the array, but we can confirm if the title contains a policy only, then switch into this. Then after that we can switch to the parent window and we can get the parent window title and the parent window name as well to confirm that our switching to the parent is working as expected. Okay, so let's try to execute this logic again. We have completed all the 3 diff logics now. Let me execute this as well. Let's focus on the console to see the communication between the WebDriver program and the Firefox browser. Okay, the communication started. It is entering the URL and clicking on the link now here. Okay, it waits for 5 seconds before it gets a number of windows and switch to the window into the text in the text box. Now we can see the console. There are no errors in the console. It means the logic 1 is working as expected. The logic 2 is working as expected. The logic 3 is working as expected. So this will help you to write different ways of logic in real time also. This will be helpful not only in the case of handling windows. This might be helpful anywhere. Suppose, for example, if you have a Windows set, if you have a set, how do we convert a set into an array? This example will be helpful. Suppose there is a set. How do you use iterator to iterate the elements? This will help us. So how do we use enhanced for loop? This logic will help us. So all the 3 logics are part of this example. So this handling multiple windows concept is very important in real time, and also it is very important from the interviews perspective. So you get a lot of questions from this topic as well. So please focus and try to go through the notes, go through the examples. This notes will be part of the video description, and also this logic will be part of the totalqa.com blog. You can refer to the blog for this logic as well to practice. I hope this video is very helpful for you, and if you like my video, please subscribe and share to your friends. Thanks for watching the video.